It is Wednesday, January 17th, and the Splash Zone is back in your life. I am Matt Modi with my 4 favorite NBA player props for today. Now, heading into yesterday's slate, we are on just a ridiculous hot streak. And while we didn't quite have the same level of success that we had heading into yesterday, we still had a profitable day. And at the end of the day, if you can make money betting on these NBA player props, then that is something that you should be happy with. Yesterday, I gave out 4 picks on this YouTube channel. We got 2 of those 4 to cash, but thanks to the fact that I play a bunch of plus money bangers, we did end the day with some profit. We were up 0.3 units yesterday. We lost Tobias Harris under on his points. We also got hooked on Kevin Durant over 27.5 points as he scored exactly 27, but we cashed Embiid over 32.5 points, and we cashed De'Aaron Fox 30 plus points. Yesterday's results bring our entire season's profit. We are up 41.23 units on the entire NBA season with an ROI of 26.52%. Just incredible success that we are having. So if this is your first time watching my channel, I would appreciate it if you could subscribe, catch us when we go on the next banger, next heater. And then of course, if you could like the video, comment, all that stuff helps me out a ton. If you are new to my channel, one thing that I want to say, what I try to do is I try to find NBA player props that are basically for plus money. Instead of taking a point total at their main line, I'll pump up the numbers a little bit to get better odds, which is exactly how I've been able to have so much success, despite the fact that yesterday I only won half my bets. That's the strategy. Let's hope that we can have some success today. And let's get right into these picks. So the first play that we're going to go ahead and talk about here, this is in the Warriors versus Jazz game. Jordan Clarkson, 20 plus points, plus 105 odds at FanDuel. Now the Jazz have been on fire. The Warriors have been terrible. And this is a play because of how bad the Warriors defense is at guarding guards. It's kind of confusing. The jitterbug type of guard that Jordan Clarkson is. Now he's listed as a shooting guard. This applies to both shooting guards and point guards. It's more so the archetype of the player as it is the specific position. We're talking about well-rounded guards who can shoot from deep, who are also good in the pick and roll, who can score from the mid-range, even have a little bit of a decent in the paint game while not drawing a ton of fouls and not attacking the rim. That type of guard, that is where the Warriors defense is very weak. On the year, and this is going to be specific to shooting guards, but on the year, the Warriors are giving up the most points per game to shooting guards in the entire NBA. And unsurprisingly, props.cash lists the Warriors as the best matchup, the easiest matchup that you want to target for shooting guard point props. And Clarkson has been playing pretty well recently. As the Jazz have been playing well, so has Jordan Clarkson. Now, he missed this last game. But the game he missed last game, that was not a matchup that you would have wanted to target him in anyways. Prior to that, Clarkson had cashed this in 4 straight games and in 6 of 8 as well. Now, the Warriors Clarkson hasn't played the Warriors yet this year, but last year he played them 3 times and he scored 20 plus points in all 3. Obviously, it's a new season, different situations and all that stuff, but he did go over against them in all 3 games last year. I'm expecting Jordan Clarkson to have another good game in this one. Hopefully he can come through for us, cashing 20 plus points. Next up, this is in the Magic versus Hawks game. We're taking Paolo Banchero, 30 plus points, plus 150 odds at FanDuel. Now this one is going to feel gross. This is the ultimate flip-flop, fading recent events type of play, as Paolo has not been good in the past 4 games. We'll get into that in a little bit, but I am going to officially call this one my Pepto play of the day. It's going to feel gross going down. It's going to make your stomach a little queasy, but I absolutely love it. Now, as I mentioned, in these past 4 games, he's been ice cold. Now, prior to these past 4 games, he was on fire, so it does kind of show you the cyclical nature of the NBA. And you can also kind of look into the matchups and see why he was hot and then why he was cold. In the past 4 games, he's only gone more than 20 points in 1 game. Some bad performances. He had 25 in that one. But you got to look at the matchups. Not that surprising watching him struggle. The 4 teams that he struggled against, the Timberwolves, the Heat, the Thunder, and the Knicks. That's the best defense in the NBA and 4 of the best 11 defenses in the NBA. And specifically, defenses that are good at guarding forwards like Banchero. Now, Paolo gets one of the juiciest matchups you can possibly imagine in the NBA for a forward, going up against the Hawks, who are just a travesty on defense, and B, really struggle guarding the forward position as well. Props.cash lists the Hawks as the 2nd easiest matchup in the NBA for power forward point props. And over the past month, the Hawks have given up the second most points per game in the NBA to power forwards as well. Now looking at the Magic, looking at Banchero, Franz Wagner is still out in this one, and Paolo sees his usage rate go up from 30% up to 34% in games that when Franz is off the court. Keep in mind that 34% usage rate, would be the third highest in the NBA behind Joel Embiid and Luka Doncic, and that 4% increase is the second highest on the Magic. Last time the Magic and the Hawks played, Paolo hung 35 on them. I think he's going to have another good game tonight. I really like this 30 plus point banger. Again, plus 150 at Bet Rivers. Next up, this is in the Hornets versus Pelicans game. Zion Williamson, 25 plus points, plus 150 odds at FanDuel. Now, for this one, the Paolo one was a flip-flop, fade recent events type of play. This is essentially the opposite of that, which always makes me personally a little bit nervous as I like fading recent events. But looking at this one, Zion, he's been phenomenal the past 2 games. Granted, it's only a 2-game sample size, but he scored 30 points in 2 straight games. Now, prior to that, he had gone under 25 points in 3 of 4. So it's not like he's been consistently clearing it for the past 10 games or anything like that. But I like this play, probably not surprised because of the matchup. Zion is technically the starting power forward for the Pelicans, and Valanciunas is the starting center. But Zion has more of a scoring profile than a center does than Valanciunas, and the Hornets are terrible against these types of players. And we're talking about players like Zion that attack the rim, that the majority of their baskets come via layup, dunk, tip in, something like that, right around the rim. Whereas Valanciunas, he scores more of his points in the mid-range, the hook, the more of a jump shot type of game, does more of his damage with his back to the basket, whereas Zion just attacks the rim. So what I'm trying to say here is that the Hornets are a defense that you want to target for players like Zion who attack the rim and score at will at the rim. Over the past month, the Hornets are giving up the most points per game in the NBA to centers, and according to Courtside Pal, and this one is the more important point that you want to hear, according to Courtside Pal, the Hornets are giving up the second most points per game to someone of Zion's shooting profile. Not the case with Valanciunas, who has a different shooting profile than Zion. Only the Spurs are worse than the Hornets against this position. So, despite the fact that Zion did go off for 2 straight games, I think he's going to have another good game tonight in a very juicy matchup. Hopefully, the flip-flop method starts next game, not tonight, and Zion can cash this play for us. And next up, our 4th and final pick of the slate, Spurs versus Celtics game. I'm taking Jason Tatum, 4 plus made 3-pointers, plus 155 odds at FanDuel. So for our last play of the evening, let's go with a traditional splash zone prop, which is where the splash zone name came from. Now, I'll admit, in general, I had a tough time deciding what I wanted to do with my 4th pick for today's slate. There were a couple guys that I really wanted to target, but because of injury question marks, I decided to stay away from them. That was like Anthony Edwards I liked, Derek White I liked, Luka, if he plays tonight, I love. But with all the injuries, I wanted to be safer, and especially injuries in this game as well. As I mentioned, Derek White is questionable, Kristaps Porzingis is questionable, as is Drew Holiday. And they're all questionable with legit injuries, not because the Celtics are on a back-to-back or anything like that. So the injury concern, plus the fact that the Celtics are 16-point favorites at home, I don't want to touch any of those guys specifically. But with that said, Tatum has no injury designation. And if a couple of those players do end up sitting out, Tatum's going to have the ball in his hands even more. And I love targeting Tatum in this matchup, and I love targeting his 3-point props specifically. Now, the Spurs defense is bad all over. I just told you that they're bad at players like Zion's scoring profile. Another area in which they are particularly bad is giving up 3-pointers to the forward position. Props.cash lists the Spurs as the easiest matchup, the best matchup in the NBA for small forward 3-point props. And over the past month, they've given up the second most made 3-pointers to small forwards as well. Looking at the more recent sample size as well, 6 of the last 7 small forwards have gone over their 3-point prop against the Spurs. Looking at Jason Tatum, I love the fact that he shoots a lot. He gets like 9 3-point attempts up per game. That's over the past 10 games if you take out the Bucks game in which he played fewer than 20 minutes, basically only played in the first half. 9 3-point attempts is a lot. Now, with a bad defense against the Spurs, those 9 3-point attempts, a lot of them are very high value shots as well. This is a number that Tatum has hit in 5 games, in 5 of his last 7. And the last time these two teams played on New Year's Eve, Jason Tatum hit 5 3-pointers against them. I think he could do so once again tonight. We just need him to get 4. And that's all we got. 4 plus money bangers for you guys to lock in. Hopefully you're able to get these in. If you are riding with me, make sure to comment and let me know. If there are plays that you like for tonight, you can comment and let me know that as well. Other than that, remember to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.